wabarakatuh. I'm very honored and delighted this morning, Thursday morning, May the 14th, 2020. I have His Honorable City of Clrakston Mayor Awet Eyasu live from Atlanta or Clrakston. And then I have Her Excellency Dr. Gulshan Harjee, medical doctor, which we are going to discuss. Please tune in. If you have questions, those who are following through the Facebook, you can do so, or those who join here as well. Just before we start, I want to briefly read a very powerful bio of Dr. Gulshan Harjee. Dr. Gulshan Harjee, a medical doctor, a board-certified, internist certified civil surgeon, is a graduate of Emory University School of Medicine. In addition to being founder of First Medical Care, primary care clinic in Decatur, she is a past president of the DeKalb Medical Society. Dr. Harjee was born in Tanzania, East Africa, but escaped political turmoil during the Eid al-Amin era, which we all remember how tough it was, to attend high school in Pakistan. Then fled from Pakistan due to work in India and Pakistan to attend college in Iran. Then she arrived in the United States during the Iranian embargo back in the 70s toward the 80s when Reagan was coming on board. Was admitted to start medical school. She arrived in the United States during the Iranian embargo and was admitted to start medical schools by Dr. Louis Sullivan, founder of one of then the brand new program at Morehouse School of Medicine. Dr. Harjee active in the community, serving on UNICEF board of SAUSA, launched health clinic at Georgia Primitive College, now merged and called Georgia State University in Clarkston in Dunwoody campus. In October 2011, she chaired the AG resolution committee, authored a 3 resolution pertaining to facilitating healthcare reform matters. The last one of the assistant physician license, which has been turned down 3 times. He also served as the board of DeKalb Medical Health System for 20 years. Dr. Harjee has been recognized by Atlanta Magazine as top doctor, a power woman of Georgia, by the Georgia Trend magazine, and additionally is recipient of multiple humanitarian and services award. She is a co-founder of the Clrakston Community Health Center, which is a 501c nonprofit that delivers free primary care, dental, mental health services, and free prescription to marginalized and the refugee community of Clrakston in the area. People are coming to her clinic, not only those who are resident in Clrakston, who are suburban in other cities, Dale, Decatur, and Atlanta as well. She is a recipient of a number of humanitarian and philanthropy awards, and additionally funds scholarship students entering college in the healthcare field, and a scholarship at Morehouse School of Medicine. Dr. Harjee is a 10-year cancer survivor herself. Our prayer is always for her. I remember the first day we learned that she is diagnosed with a cancer, we start immediately launching special prayer for her. She deserves it. She deserves it. She is married and has 2 beautiful children, 2 lawyers already of her children, and that one thankfully just declared that she wants to enter medical school. That being said, I am very, very honored to have Dr. Harjee to our show, to the African immigrant community, to the right place. With that being said, Dr. Harjee, could you just go ahead and jump start on what is COVID-19? Because these are the hot topic. I know that may be a little away from your expertise, but just the general overview of the health crisis or health problem that we see in our community. What is COVID-19? How is it attacking a person? We hear Washington repeatedly discussing all this from the media, but you are the expert in terms of the doctor. Please go ahead and tell us, and then we're going to talk about services in the refugee communities and so forth. Go ahead, Dr. Harjee.
Thank you very much for that introduction, and I'm honored to be on this panel with the Honorable Mayor of Clrakston. Good morning. I appreciate this honor. I want to just share a few words about how Clrakston has been affected, and the mayor can also jump in and add whatever he feels that we need to also know. But Clrakston is a 1 square mile, most diverse city and most diverse square mile in the United States. There are people from more than 100 countries and probably 60 plus languages spoken. People in Clrakston have multiple challenges. They have challenges of workplace, they have challenges of living situation, they have challenges of personal health, and challenges of healthcare accessibility. So given those 4 situations, it is difficult for a mainstream American to handle the COVID crisis, but especially exaggerated for the residents of Clrakston. In our lifetime, and perhaps talking to my grandparents, I have never heard of a pandemic or a situation that our generation is experiencing right now. COVID has taken us full blast into a totally new situation that we have never experienced. The lockdown, the immobility, the restrictions of getting out, especially for children, for the elderly, for us to get out and go to work. We have to make adjustments. I think for the people of Clrakston, it has been particularly challenging because many of our Clrakston immigrants, refugees, migrants, asylum seekers are day job workers. They are hourly wage earners. They probably only get a 1099 and they get an hourly wage. Many of them, as a result, do not have health insurance. So in this pandemic, it becomes especially difficult for them to access healthcare. At our clinic at the Clrakston Community Health Center, our 7th year in practice, and 5th year when we opened our doors, we currently were treating 4,500 patients on our electronic record as it showed. But we had to pause late March. We had to pause because of the pandemic, and we immediately transitioned to telemedicine so that our patients can access a physician. And mind you, all our providers are volunteers, all our staff are volunteers, except for a part-time manager. So we transitioned to telemedicine, which would be like a Skype interview as we are doing now, or for patients who do not have internet access. And the mayor will agree with me that many of our residents in Clrakston do not have internet access. So that becomes a challenge accessing telemedicine. So we have transitioned to telemedicine, which is an excellent tool to cope with the pandemic, But for patients in Clrakston, it is a challenge. So for those patients who do not have internet, we provide a secure phone line where they can call in, give us their blood sugars, give us their blood pressures, tell us their symptoms, and we may be able to send in a prescription or be able to give them insulin through a drive-through clinic, check their blood pressures through drive-through. And more recently, we are going to introduce a point of care drive-through so that they can come in and get their lab work as a drive-through. So with this, we are trying to cope with the COVID crisis and trying to provide access for healthcare to our residents in Clrakston. So in a nutshell, that is what we are trying to do. We have, of course, had to pause on our screening mammograms, on our women's examinations, so on our eye exams, physical therapy. So none of these we can provide because these are face-to-face live visits. So we have had to compromise, and we are going to wait and see how things pan out in the future so that we can provide more services as things become more relaxed and safe. But at the moment, the things that we are supposed to do are wash our hands, personal hygiene, when getting out, wear a mask, and try to get outside only for essentials. Things that are essential, like prescription or a test that you cannot get or do with somebody coming to the house. So in a nutshell, those are the things that we have done in order to accommodate and continue to provide healthcare. Thank you.
Thank you for that really in-depth overview of what and how this has really impacted our communities. I'm going to jump to the Mr. Mayor in a minute, but I have another set of questions. You know, the refugee communities is solved is this is coming from the trauma of being refugee, going through so many. When they settle here, people say, "This is it. Now I am at peace, confronted with this unknown enemy." And the culture is different. As you know, we in Africa are really mingled in close proximity. And it's become like a revolution to the family. What methodology do you think is effective to educate members of the community to take this matter very seriously?
Is this question for me, sir? So understood that many families in Africa and in the Indian subcontinent, and I'm very familiar with all those cultures, live in multi-generational family groups, so that in a small space, say they have a 1-bedroom or 2-bedroom small apartment, and they have multi-generational family members living, creates a very difficult situation. So as far as we can recommend is washing hands, trying to practice good sanitation, and to be aware of the signs of symptoms of COVID. Be very aggressive, know that this is real. COVID does not discriminate, but society does. And so particularly the elderly and those with morbid conditions like diabetes, high blood pressure, cancer, any of those morbid conditions put individuals at risk for COVID. So nutrition is very important, and understood that when you have limited resources, your food quality can be affected. We recommend high amounts of fruits and vegetables, fresh produce. We recommend getting outside when it's safe in small areas to be able to take short walks where it is safe, one by one, so that you can get exercise, get oxygen. Quit smoking, no drinking, because we know those suppress your immunity. But if somebody is thought to have the symptoms, to immediately call the clinic, to consult with us so that we can recommend whether this is COVID or not, and then try to keep your 6-foot distance from the individual, wearing masks and trying to keep a distance where you can protect other members of the family. But it can be a challenge. It's a huge challenge when space is an issue.
Thank you so much. Now I'm going to jump to Mayor Eyasu. Good morning, Mr. Mayor. I'm delighted to have you. I'm going to be toggling between two of you, or then Mr. Mayor, you also feel free to ask our doctor here. Firstly, Mr. Mayor, as you know, in Clarkston, in a small city with heart slogan, over 74 languages. How the city of Clarkston is handling the issue of COVID?
Thank you so much, Imam. And first, I want to say thank you so much, Dr. Harjee, for all what you do. And it's a pleasure to be on this panel with you. And pleasure to see you, Imam. It's been a long time since we didn't meet in person. And I think the city of Clarkston, just like any other city in America, um, we are, trying to stay home and trying to function and continue surviving while at the same time trying to continue being functional. And it's difficult as it is, but when you have multi-language and multi-cultures, it becomes even more difficult. So when this crisis hit, within about a few weeks, we kind of started sending out notices in about 7 different languages that we thought are the major languages in the city. And we have been sharing those in social media. And recently we have a new banner that we put in different city corners that is a picture that has different pictures of which resembles our constituency with different cultural garments, and that really our community can relate, and educating our community that they need to have space between themselves when they are walking or when they are shopping, and just like most of cities in Georgia, we passed a shelter-at-home ordinance, and we ordered also the restaurants to be normal dining on, but for takeout only. We were pretty much the first city in Georgia to institute the no more than 10 people congregating together. So we have managed, and thankfully to the so many healthcare providers such as the Clrakston Community Health Center and other nonprofit clinics that we have actually managed pretty well. We managed to have testing done. I think we are one of the few cities that have available free testing to the community with the help of nonprofits and great humanitarian doctors such as Dr. Harjee. And right now we are partnering with Clrakston Community Health Center, and there is, Dr. Harjee can say more about this, but there will be more tests in the coming 6. Well, I think there is some help, including with our police. The CARE Act included some help for municipalities. Unfortunately, small cities like Clarkston did not qualify for most of the package that was prepared with the CARES Act. Most cities in Georgia don't even qualify. Only cities that has more than 500,000 population were the beneficiaries of the CARES Act. But I think there is the county's planning on sharing some of the proceeds. Still is really on the works. But so far, most of our help has been with emergency response, and but I can say that almost most of our help has been from nonprofit organizations that are doing all the fight pretty much, especially when it comes to medical treatment. So I mean medical mitigation. So I'm really hoping that there will be more help coming, but so far, unfortunately, the help has been to big cities like New York, but it doesn't really help a lot smaller cities such as Clrakston in Georgia.
The purpose and ask is we, as a member of the community, as a community leader, as an NGO, we can advocate on your behalf and knock the door of the Fed and say, look, these are also small cities, they deserve help. And we can talk to the senators, we can talk to Congress to get you help that are needed. Now, shifting a little bit of the question to you, Mr. Mayor, I know Georgia is the first, perhaps among the first cities that are, reopening for business.
Right.
Do you have any plan for your city? So when is the time frame?
Well, yes, the governor had signed an executive decision that he wants a lot of businesses to open. I myself, I do not believe that is a wise idea because we are not ready for that yet. I think that will take us back to the same position we were at the beginning of this crisis. I do not support the idea that we have to open up this soon, because if we are going to be set back, I really don't see what's the point of doing it. I mean, if you're going to go one step forward and go back two steps, I think it's a lot better to do this slowly. The city of Clarkston is closely monitoring this situation. The city hall and a lot of the city parks are closed for the public until May 31st. We might even extend it, but right now the city hall is closed. We are operating with minimal capacity. Our police are always on the streets. They're always going to be there. And also our public works, they're always going to be there, of course. But in terms of businesses, we really cannot control much because the governor has tied our hands that we can't make any decisions. We cannot order them, but we are strongly encouraging them to continue either operating at minimal level, and especially to the restaurants, we are encouraging them to continue doing takeout only, so that we wouldn't go back to the same situation we were in, and again, they would lose more if that happens. So I unfortunately don't have any control on this, but my position is, especially to our community, to continue observing social distancing, to continue to working from home if they can, which unfortunately is not possible to a lot of our community members. But still, just like Dr. Harjee said, continue washing your hands, continue supporting your community members or your family members, but at the same time, be very careful. But I don't see us opening everything as normal. And if we do open, I think it's going to be very gradual, step by step. But these things also depend on what the governor does. So our power is pretty much to the level of encouraging people. So we'll continue encouraging everybody to stay safe, and we are definitely closely monitoring the situation.
We do the same really monitoring. We have a lot of members of our community concerned. As you say, we are closely monitoring the situation. Coming back to Dr. Harjee, Masha'Allah, you've been seeing at your clinic about 4,500 patients prior to the COVID-19. Could you just walk us through your clinic, the services you provide, and shed some light on those?
So pre-corona, we were providing medical services, mental health, dental, women's healthcare, specialty clinics, point-of-care lab, free pharmacy, screening mammograms, and physical therapy. So these were all the services we were able to provide pre-corona to 4,500 patients 5 days a week through 8 academic collaborations. So the reason we were able to see such high volume was because of our academic collaborations with the nurse practitioner programs, with the medical schools, with the physical therapy programs. So that is the beauty of our model. However, post-corona, we are challenged so that we are now able to only provide services that we can on telemedicine, which is compromised, but at least it is the service that we can provide given the pandemic. So moving forward, we started the drive-through free insulin to our patients who are on insulin. We were able to do free drive-through insulin clinics, blood pressure clinics. We are soon going to launch the point-of-care lab drive-through. And we are also already doing testing. We've had one weekend and we're going to have 11 subsequent weekends in collaboration with the DeKalb Board of Health. So we are very, very excited. And also several local foundations and donors have stepped up to the plate. So it looks like we are going to be able to continue to do these free testing every Saturday and Sunday for 11 subsequent weekends. And to call to register for a free test, you call 678-383-1383 and press option 3 to get an appointment. And I just want to tell you that it was really our mayor who was our first patient. So he started the drive, and we are so grateful for him for endorsing us. This is a very big moment and a very powerful moment for Clrakston Community Health Center to have the endorsement of the mayor. So thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, for always supporting us. And we at Clrakston Community Health Center feel that healthcare is a right, not a privilege. It's a right. And it is, Dr. Saeed, my co-founder, and myself, it is our conviction that we are going to continue to survive no matter what the pandemic does to us. We will continue to be available to our patients, and we want to continue to provide free service. We just need your blessing and your endorsement at all times, and for you to stand by us. Thank you.
It's indeed.
Thank you, Doctor.
Go ahead, Awet.
No, thank you. I want to say it's really a privilege to us having humanitarian doctors like you in our city.
Thank you.
I will just write it down to the member of the community, the phone number for the clinic for the 678-383-18.
1383.
1383.
678-383-1383. And to make an appointment for the free testing, press option 3.
And all the services free, right?
All the services are free, absolutely.
How did you manage in terms of magnitude? I know a member of our community, a lot of them, they don't have health care. how did you manage all those terms of those who need, or how do you prioritize streaming for services?
So it is before Corona, we were a walk-in clinic. So anybody who is 200% below federal poverty level was eligible to get any of these services that we could provide. But post-Corona, as you know, we have had to pause on certain services, but as long as they are 200% below federal poverty level, they are in. And the reason we are able to do this is because we have volunteers who see the need, who want to serve, and see the importance of philanthropy. And like I said, healthcare is a right. And for those who believe that it is a right, and the position that our country and our state has taken to not expand Medicaid, patients need access to healthcare. And so we are able to provide through our 400 plus volunteers. So we are grateful to all the volunteers that are able to come to our clinic or are able to provide service on telemedicine, to screen the patients, to call in their reports. These are all volunteers and medical students.
It's really heart-touching to learn you have 400 volunteers coming and providing those comprehensive services. I might propose to our mayor, perhaps once we have wind down this epidemic COVID-19, have a day of volunteers recognition day, so we can all come to recognize those great volunteers. What do you think, Samir?
Absolutely, Imam. I think it's well deserved. This clinic, like as Dr. Harjee said, has been supporting the community for years now, and one factor that I can also add to that is to the fact that a lot of people don't have insurances. A lot of our community members, especially with our immigrant community also, we have a lot of pre-existing conditions that were never diagnosed for years until they came to America. And a lot of people never had access to medical facilities until they came to America. So, and when they come here, they got Medicaid for a few months, and after that, the Medicaid is cut off, especially in states like Georgia. And I think having clinics like Clrakston Community Health Center is very critical for Clrakston. And they don't serve only immigrants, by the way, they also serve many native-born Americans who also don't have insurance, who also are minorities, and who also are living below poverty line. And so what they do is very vital for our city and for our community in general. So I definitely would love to support them in any way I can, or any way the city can. And we definitely would also love to have you with us, Imam. And inshallah, everything goes well. We definitely will do that.
Well, forward to that day. Going back to Dr. Harjee for a minute, could you, Dr. Harjee, walk us through this COVID-19 symptoms? We hear different feelings. Let's hear from the mouth of the horse, per se. If you tell us and indicate us, what are the indicators? And how long would it take to show the indicator? Some say 2 weeks, some say 1 week, some say 3 days. Walk us through it.
So, as you know, there is nothing written on the forehead of a carrier. You go into a store, or you go to a gas station or a convenience store or a restaurant. Somebody who's carrying the disease does not have anything on their forehead, on their face, or on their body to tell you they have the disease. At least in smallpox, you could tell they had the pox, or in measles, you can see the rash. But in COVID, there is no such thing. except of course, and we'll get to that, Kawasaki disease, which is being described in children, which is rare, but they will have that rash. So it is said that majority after an exposure will start to have some kind of symptom within 2 days of exposure. They can have a fever, they can have a cough, they can have a sore throat, and then the virus kind of moves slowly down the track into the throat, from the sinuses into the throat, into the pharynx, voice box area, and then into the lungs. So the symptoms kind of develop as the virus travels. Some other symptoms that the CDC added was muscle pain, headaches, trouble breathing, pressure in the chest. As you remember, Chris Cuomo, our CNN anchorman, used to say he feels like there is something crushing in his chest. You have chest pain or chest tightness. And then there is loss of taste or smell. Those are subtle symptoms. And then diarrhea, rarely a skin rash, runny nose, you can have fatigue. So there are different stages. And the worst one is when you start coughing. When you start coughing, the virus is already in the lungs, and there are receptors in the lungs called the ACE receptor. Wherever there are ACE receptors, that's where the virus becomes seriously active and starts what is called a cytokinin rush. So there are receptors in the lungs, in the colon, it will cause diarrhea. In the kidneys, it can cause kidney shutdown. ACE receptors in the heart can cause heart failure and serious arrhythmias. So depending on where the ACE inhibitors are, the cytokinin is released, and there is a serious reaction to that. So different people, depending on their immunity or their general condition, their baseline condition, may be able to fight it off, but others with morbid conditions, elderly, those with cancer, particularly obese patients who are obese we have seen have worse prognosis. And what we have also observed is minorities. For some reason, the Black community and the Latinos are hit really badly. So those are some of the things we need to sort of be very careful about. And so it's very important that we try to avoid it in the first place by wearing a face covering or a mask when going out, still continuing social distancing, which is keeping 6 feet away from other people, and washing your hands, and going out only for essentials at the time.
Speaking of attacking the minorities and Latino, what makes them vulnerable to the other population?
So, like we said, it may be that it is their work environment that predisposes them, because of the work environment where people are so close to each other. It may be the environment at home where they are in confined spaces. It may be their morbid condition and the number of morbid diseases they may have. And it may be not having access to healthcare. So those may be some of the socioeconomic status which affects your immunity, the quality of food, whether you're getting exercise, whether your immunity is strong enough to weather COVID. So those are some of the theories that have been put out.
Imam, I just want to, I'm not a doctor. I have no idea about medical stuff, but I just want to add a few things. Thank you for, as Dr. Harjee said, there are a lot of social determinants that are already there. I mean, it's not just COVID-19. There are a lot of diseases that impact minorities more than any other community.
That's correct.
Already, heart disease, diabetes, and there are so many diseases that already have been ravaging our communities of minorities and of people of color. And this COVID-19 is just shedding a light into the existing structured problem. And there are, I mean, we can talk days about this because this has been a problem that is already in our system, unfortunately, uh, and and so that's what really is that's what we see right now. So COVID-19, as Dr. Harjee earlier said, does not discriminate. However, there are already existing conditions that makes it a lot more easier to attack communities of color, I would say.
That's correct. I agree.
Thank you.
I myself, as a social worker by profession, also practiced in multiple government a long time. Dr. Haji, how do you handle bad news to the patient that are diagnosed with this terrible disease positive? How did you get that information to the patient that might be diagnosed positive? It's going to be devastating. How do you?
It is. It is. We emphasize, well, as such, there are no treatments that are definitive at this time. So what we do is we try to emphasize on good nutrition. We emphasize on distancing so they don't impact other members of the family or co-workers. They obviously have to stay home for 2 weeks if they are continuing to work. But we emphasize on good nutrition, fluids, rest. We give them, we recommend Tylenol for fevers, and essentially maybe coughs, medicines that will help them with their respiratory situation, like inhalers or steam, inhaling steam. But it's all symptomatic care. Unfortunately, there is nothing right now like you would give for herpes or HIV or the flu. There are no drugs at this time to abort an attack. So we just tell them to just use a good judgment, continue to use hand sanitizers and wash their hands, use face coverings at home, and try to keep a distance from their family members. If and when they get so short-winded or their mouth starts to turn purple or blue, and they start to become confused, then we obviously, this is time to go to the hospital because they are going to need some aggressive and more advanced treatment, like they may need to go into the ICU and get respiratory assistance. But otherwise, they have to stay home and continue to do symptomatic care.
Since you have mentioned providing those screening or testing, do you see the number of diagnoses increase or decrease?
Oh, so interesting. Clrakston Community Health Center just got into testing, so we've only done one drive so far. And interestingly, we have not had a positive. So it may be that we have not reached the right demographics, or maybe people have already had the disease and are already coming at a time when they are negative. Other clinics in the area that have screened earlier in the pandemic were reporting 30% positives. So we are probably testing later in the pandemic, but the ones that were earlier on were catching 35% positives.
It's very devastating.
Yes, we are considered a hotspot in Clrakston.
What do you think that we need to do?
The things that we've talked about is getting out only for essentials, continuing to wear face coverings when you're going outside, only essentials, and social distancing is very important. Like the mayor said, if you want to go to a restaurant, do only pick up, or drive through, and try to minimize outside only for emergencies and for taking short walks or getting some exercise. That's all we can do, and continue to test, because now that the testing is available and it's now for free. I mean, it seems like that would be the thing to do, is to encourage everybody who has not had a test to go out and get tested.
So our campaign in the community should be testing, 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 correct?
Exactly. Testing, testing, testing.
Okay. Well, that will be one of the reasons that we are encouraging this interview, and we're going to be spreading out to all of the members of our society in the community at large. Now, going back to your services, Dr. Harjee, you have a lot of services. You know, we have a lot of health serious problems in the community. What do you attribute of a lot of different type of cancer? Where is it coming from? What does the community need to be aware, or the individual or the family need to be aware to be protected from that another terrible serious health issue as well?
Well, I think for one thing, Imam Wazir, is that we come from backgrounds that have many myths and very strange, issues where we sometimes are confused about what is good nutrition, what is exercise, what is essential for good health, seeing your primary care, going to the physician and getting routine checkups, because things do creep up. So I think one thing is that, say for example, here's a simple example. People who come from, refugees or immigrants who come from the Indian subcontinent eat a lot of rice, okay? Those are just zero nutrition when you think about it. I mean, it was okay when we were farmers or construction workers. We could digest and metabolize that kind of rice portions 3 times a day. Nepalese, Bhutanese people from India, Pakistan, Afghanistan eat a lot of white rice and white bread, and sometimes they mix those in one meal. So that just gives you empty calories with no nutrition. So some of the things we need to tell our community is, let's learn about how to eat right, because that in itself gives you nutrition and immunity. Fresh produce, fresh fruits, whatever is in season, those are very important. And with the children, they get addicted to these ads on the television, all these processed foods, sodas, drinks, burgers, fries, pizzas. Those are empty calories. They have zero nutrition. So we need to focus on produce, fruits, clean protein. Try to minimize on the meats, but eat more beans, moongs, dals, lentils, eggs, give you good protein. And I know sometimes that can be a challenge when you're a day worker and making minimum wage of $9, $10 an hour, but we emphasize to the food banks that they should bring us produce that we can circulate and distribute quickly. Smoking, drinking, we need to get away from that. Definitely, because having practiced for 35 years, I don't know a single patient that benefited from smoking and drinking. Vaping and doing drugs, nobody that I know has benefited from that. And then getting regular physician appointments to get your blood checked, to check your blood pressure, get cancer screening. These are the things that we are offering. So those are some of the things that I recommend. Exercise. And I know that can be a challenge in COVID, but there are ways to get some exercise. Get outside in your yard and jump rope or walk, climb upstairs several times a day. Try to be creative and to get exercise. So these are the kinds of things that we should be telling our community, and we try. We do a lot of that, and we try, but I guess it takes time.
Indeed, it takes time. Speaking of educating, as it say, educating a woman is like educating half of the population. What do you see is the vulnerability of the woman vis-a-vis the healthcare?
Well, thank you for uplifting the position of the woman. The woman in the house is the one that makes the major decisions for the family. What they are going to eat, where they're going to go, what programs the children watch, what exercise they're getting, who are their friends, attending PTA meetings, cooking the right foods, giving children the education and the opportunity to get social interactions with their neighbors, and to get out of the box and not limit the children's social context to just their community, but to adventure and to meet other communities, because we live in a global world. And in order for us to understand why some people behave in a certain way or do some things in a certain way, to be tolerant, you have to know people of different cultures. And that's what I try to do with my children, is they had friends from all over the world. And that's what makes them tolerant. So they can understand of all different faiths also. So you can appreciate people from other faiths. So as a woman of the house, she has many responsibilities.
Wow, it's really well said. Oftentimes some cultures really neglect the woman and they just put her in the kitchen. I tell my wife, you're my boss. If you don't have peace at home, you don't have peace at house. It's really well said. Mr. Mayor, in terms of nutrition and the right food, what is the city plan to make sure we have a lot of farmers market type of coming to Clark and making the business tax incentives and have a fresh.
Well, thank you, Imam, for that question. First, I want to say I want to thank Dr. Harjee. I am very appreciative of all doctors, but I appreciate doctors who also educate people what food to focus on, especially doctors who educate about nutrition. I really appreciate them so much because it kind of helps with the source of the problem, not just diagnosing the problem and giving the medicine. So I really want to thank you, doctor, for educating our community and also focusing on the source of a lot of the problems. So when it comes to the city, I mean, we are pretty lucky that we are not a food desert per se. We do have farmers market not far away, and we have a thrift town, a food store, and we have many ethnic stores in Clrakston. There is one thing that the city is really encouraging is what we call urban agriculture. We are trying to educate people on the importance of gardening. So there is this place called 40 Arts, where there are about 40 families, and for some reason, mostly are from the Indian subcontinent, which from Nepal and Burma and Bhutan. A lot of them are farming families, so they have small plots that the city provides, and there is a nonprofit organization called Global Growers that helps them, educates them on how to do the seeding and all that. So the city is already doing small things, and we really want to expand that. We want to encourage people to be connected with the earth, with land in general. Because one thing I noticed, a lot of us, we kind of lost our touch with environments. We come to America, we come to a concrete jungle, we focus on work, we focus on, I mean, we have no time going to the park. There are 3 parks in Clrakston, Friendship Forest, 40 Arts, and Milan Park. And the only one that I see a lot of people go is to Milan Park, but I really want to encourage people to go to 40 Arts, go to Friendship Forest, and just go there and go to the forest and also have garden in your backyard. some families are privileged to have a backyard. I know a lot of people live in apartments, but even those who live in apartments, they can somehow manage to incorporate vegetables and fruits. So just like Dr. Harjee was saying, but as a city, we are doing preliminary work, and I think we definitely will continue this as we progress, and we will expand the urban agriculture programs. But I really want to encourage our immigrant community to, get back to our roots, get connected with the soil, and educate our kids about plants, about animals, about nature, which we always have been connected to. We just got disconnected lately since we came through a lot of difficult journeys. But yeah, I mean, the city have small projects right now, but I think, but we are also lucky to have at least 2 major fresh fruit and vegetable sources, and especially farmers market. I mean, people come here from as far as Alabama to go to that farmers market. So, yes.
We are about to come to an end, but before we do that, I will just take to ask Dr. Harjee, with your wonderful experience and years of services here, we are all rooted also from yourself. You born in Tanzania, I was born in Ethiopia, Jameer born in Eritrea. Do you see yourself very soon or down the road to have extended services to Africa, to East Africa, to be Africa is so big, Africa to offer this clinic? People that we are taking for granted here, over there, they really don't have it, some of them, In the basic education, Dr. Harjee, do you see to extend your open branch in East Africa, say, started with Ethiopia, because Ethiopia is the headquarters of African Union, then one in Tanzania, then one in Eritrea. You come to Ethiopia, I have a connection with all the officials there. I can make it happen. Do you see that possible?
Well, thank you for that question, Imam Wazir. So through my work at the U.S. Fund for UNICEF and being a board member, I was able to visit Tanzania twice and led 2 teams to Tanzania, and we earmarked a good amount of 6-figure fundraising both times. So that was my contribution to my country of birth. And also through other organizations, I've been able to extend my philanthropy work in Pakistan as well as in India. The world is such a big place, and there are so many needs. And we are just a small drop in this huge ocean. And most of us feel helpless, saying every day we are contacted by some organization saying, look at these kids, look at what is happening in the Middle East. And I've been able, through UNICEF, been able to also contribute some philanthropy into Syria and the refugees there. But as far as to remain focused on your question, I think with the internet, there are so many, it's limitless actually. The possibilities are so many. So as long as there is internet, we can do telemedicine. If there is somebody on the other side that is willing to take on responsibility, there is a possibility that if we can keep our volunteer corps together, we can provide telemedicine services to places in Eritrea or Ethiopia or wherever the need is. So we just need some responsible party on the other side. to be able to work in collaboration with us. And we have academic collaborations, so we can talk in that, expand our possibilities. But yes, we just need responsible parties on the other side to receive our requests and our work.
Well, definitely, that's really promising. I'm going to follow up with the officials in Ethiopia, with the mayors, with the governors, and the hierarchy, the health sector, and the doctors and hospitals. And if we put together those teams are responsible, I will come back to you and hook them and do the networking.
Inshallah.
America says America succeed because of networking. If we do network, we all can succeed. The mayor can help us with the three as a same team, connecting to the officials over there, and then put it together. We will have separate meetings once we wind down with COVID-19. We will further work on it. Now, as we are coming to an end, I'm going to start with Dr. Harjee. What messages you want to pass on to all members of our communities?
Well, I would like to just thank everyone that has been supportive of our services to the community, and we want more of the community members to come to us and to receive what it is that we would like to deliver. But in order to continue to enjoy the good life here in this country, we escaped war, we escaped plague, we escaped all kinds of diseases, and we came as dreamers to this country. And so for us to be able to enjoy this opportunity, we must take care of our bodies. We must take care of our physical health, our emotional health, our spiritual health. And the challenge is to keep the children focused in those paths. So my message is to just continue to be good parents, to be good children, and to continue to be good community members, always looking at your neighbor to see where it is that your services, your talents could help to elevate the lives of other people in society. But the one thing is, we must not forget the people that we left behind in our countries of birth, and to always keep an eye on our communities that we left behind and see where it is that our talents and our knowledge and our resources and our treasures can be shared, so that we can all be a peaceful world, that we can all enjoy this planet and enjoy this world together.
Thank you. As you were saying this also, I remember one last thing. The imams of Atlanta area, about 83 masjid imams, we had a Zoom meeting about a week ago. And we had 3 doctors from CDC came in and report to us. We were taken to the open masajids for prayer. And a lot of concern from the doctors, still not safe. In the same position with the other doctors, do you have any recommendation to reopen the masjid with distance and all that stuff? Am I clear with the question?
Are you asking me? Yeah, I think that's a question that we must pose to many community leaders. I think we should start with much caution. You know, it is important for us to be mindful not of just our health, but the health of our neighbors and the people that we pray with. And I know that our community enjoys the camaraderie of being together, that the blessing of the prayer comes with numbers. But I think we should take that with caution and say, important thing is to fight this pandemic. And we should not get too excited just because things are calm, because so long as the virus is still in some people's bodies, it has not left us. And I think we should observe a lot of caution about going back to the masjids right now. And this is purely my opinion. And I've been constantly asked about when can we open the clinic. And I'm saying in the waiting room, you can only have 2 patients. And how many volunteers are you going to keep in that environment? And our patient rooms are set up so that there are 2 patients in each room. We are not ready. I think we have to be very cautious and not jump and become emotional and become excited and become impatient. I think we need to be very, very cautious and not run into and start meeting in the mosques yet. I think we are not ready yet.
Thank you so much for that questionnaire statement. That's why I want to ask you to get your guidance and advice as well. Mr. Mayor, as we come to an end, what message is meant to pass on to members of the community?
Well, thank you again. I think Dr. Harjee said it really eloquently. I want our community to remain safe, to continue taking care of each other, take benefits of the resources that are available, especially when it comes to COVID. I think we need to listen to doctors and people who are in medical profession. I am a bit concerned about people who are listening to rumors, and now we need to stop listening to rumors and hearsay, but instead listen to medical professionals' advice and get tested. I really want to say that a lot to people in Clrakston. We need to take advantage of these free resources. And I also want to say, let's continue supporting these clinics. We can make small donations as much as we can, but we need to support this clinic so that they can continue providing us these services. I also would be remiss if I didn't mention that there are many things we can do from home. I really want to encourage everybody to we have elections coming soon in June. I think it's June. Sign in here, a touch of Wi-Fi there. June 9. So please, as much as we can, let's do things that we can do from distance. Let's take care of our body. Let's take care of each other and check on each other, but not to forget things such as census, which is gonna help us and help get resources in the next 10 more years. So it's very important that everybody fill out their census forms. And I really want to thank Dr. Harjee and all the other doctors in Clrakston. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Indeed, we are really indebted by Dr. Harjee and her colleagues for providing us timely needed, very urgent services. We are praying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to immensely reward personally for you, your family, and all of your volunteers for all this great hard work. My message to the mainstream parents, there's still some white supremacists who are thinking the immigrants are here to take their jobs and causing problems, and the Muslims are attacking the way of life. That's not true. There are so many Muslims are giving their life as a sacrifice. In London, doctors died COVID-19 while helping their patients. In the US, the same thing. A lot of nurses and a lot of Muslim doctors online. Enemies attacking every race, every religion, community. So the human all lined up and came together and fighting. Their limited resources, Somalia sent 20 of their best doctors to Italy to help the Italian fight COVID-19. So we as a human being connected in global village, We are here together to fight all enemies of humanity. The enemies of humanity is ignorant. The enemy of humanity is poverty. The enemy of humanity is indecency, lawlessness, and all addiction and problems. Together we fight it and we shall make a difference. And I'm very honored to also have my good friend, Mayor Eyasu, Awet Eyasu, whom we work with our immigration rights and responsibility, hosted courses 2-3 times, and we're looking for the fourth one or the third one in the coming month as wind down. And I'm greatly appreciative. One of the things that we help members of our community is also to spread the word. With your consent, I'm going to pass it on to my team to edit it and pass on this message that been recorded today for this interview for census people feel and be part of solution. A lot of members of our community way back. This is not Africa. This is not Pakistan. This is not Afghanistan. This is not Syria. The United States of America is our new home. This is our new society. We need to be fully engaged with our cities, help with our masjid, with our communities, and be part of solution to mental problem. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala remove this calamity from all humanity on the face of earth. We are praying heavily every night, every day these days, for this blessed month of Ramadan. And I thank you so much. I say, Assalamu
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay?
Thank you. Thank you again for the opportunity. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you again.
Thank you. So, have a good day, all of you. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. With that being said, the interview is concluded. And inshallah ta'ala, stay tuned with more health and social and economical aspect of our daily life with member of our public officials. We will invite them to discuss these issues, and we will address all of our concern on your behalf, the community, and feel free to give me your feedback always when things go right, when things go wrong, when we do make a mistake, educate us and show us our shortcomings so that we can improve to do better. I thank you, all of you, and inshallah we'll see you soon with another program. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.